You know, it's almost like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. The first thing I really love about it, that it comes with a sort of like PlayStation Go vibe. We cannot slide it out like the original PlayStation Portable, but the overall design is not bad at all. So the first impression is also quite positive. It comes with a very nice D-pad, and I really love when I go to put it over here because I'm a D-pad gamer and I love to play most of the time with the D-pad. We're going to get ourselves two analog sticks with even the click underneath. They are similar to the Nintendo Switch. I hope they are not going to be drifting in the future. And of course the ABXY. And the touch itself is quite nice. Then over here go to select start with the micro switches, and we're going to get shoulder buttons. So with this new generation with shoulder buttons, we're going to get something they do more often. The shoulder button is basically having two different levels, and what I really like about it, if you're going to put your finger on here, you can both press the buttons quite easily, and that's something what I personally really love there. Keep doing this. So and it makes this thing really comfortable to play. Also the form factor and the round shapes, I really like it. But let's take a close look at the top, because here we're going to get all the other connections. Volume control, then over here reset and the on and off switch, and we're even going to get ourselves an HDMI out. Well, how is it with the HDMI capabilities? It works absolutely great, plug and play. What I didn't need it to do after like messing around with the system, I plugged in the HDMI cable and give it a full reboot, and it automatically boots up into the HDMI functionality. So if you bring the device with you, you can just plug it into a TV and just have a lot of fun and play all video games this way. That is absolutely cool, don't you think so? But if you're going to use yourself a converter from the Type-C to USB, you can just plug in an Xbox 360 controller, or this is the BiTop, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It will be recognized like an Xbox 360 controller, and by plugging it in, you can just configure it and use it as a Player 1 or just Player 2. Like with Emulate and Bulacera, we can just configure the controller, just basically configure everything like the D-pad, select start, and we are ready to go. Let's do it like that. Right, left thumb, right thumb. That is this. Up, down, left, right. Hotkey. I think I'm going to use myself this particular button for that. And if you have set everything up, we are ready to go, man. Next thing that we need to do is set up the controllers over here, and the reason why, because if you want to set up a certain controller to a certain, let's say, player, for example, if you want to set player 1 with a controller Xbox 360, what I'm doing now, here you can just save it, and now we are player 1 and just play your games like a game system. And with this configuration, you can just use yourself the Powkiddy device as a game system and plug in controllers. Yeah, of course you can also use the controls of the Powkiddy and configure this as player number 2, so you can play together with your friend. So we can also get into the RetroArch menu if you want to, but we're not going to mess around with that. Let's boot it up. And all the controls are exactly the same compared with the original system itself. The only thing I did map differently, though, I have been putting the A and B over here, and with the system has been switched around. So it can basically the thing can function like a game system. And then at the bottom we're going to get all the other things. For example, when we do speakers, and they sound quite nice. Then of course we're having two USB Type-C connections. Then we're going to get two SD cards, one for the OS and one for the games, and a headphone jack out. So my version comes with Jello's OS, and I really love the layout they're using. So when you're looking at the support of games, this thing is absolutely crazy. With the rock chip in the inside, we have the option to actually play a lot of cool games. It will have limitation like usually think about when you're looking into PlayStation Portable and the really more demanding systems. But there is seriously like thousands of games that you can actually like play with in a device like this. Another key feature of this thing is the display they are using. It's absolutely beautiful. So when you're looking at the bezel, I wish they just didn't put this RK2023 at the front of here. Just make it one beautiful bezel, or make it this way that the display is even a little bit bigger, so we're going to get a super slim bezel. But nevertheless, beside all of those things, I really like it. And yep, that is something they need to do every single time with a device. They give you like a best display and gaming overall experience. Alright, so the first test I want to check out is the D-pad. And it responds very well on this handheld. Of course, we can also use the analog stick, but nevertheless, I think it's great. No problem whatsoever. So if you want to play some fighting games on this thing, it's going to be absolutely great. Time for some mortal spanking, just to see actually what are we going to get with this. But the overall main experience is very pleasant. Let's see how the buttons are mapped. That's always the biggest thing, the biggest problem with these things, finding the right buttons. So here you can see like everything has been completely weirdly mapped. And this is, by the way, the reason why I love these, let's say, 6-button layouts, especially with games like these. Is going to be very convenient. But let's reset it. Let's get in some extra nostalgia vibe for myself with Tekken 2. This is, by the way, one of those games I actually played a lot back in the day. And in combination with this display, it looks so beautiful and vibrant. The games will run just native resolution. For me, it's more than enough. Let's see how they map the buttons. And I really hate lie. Okay, they configured correctly, so that's great. But let's take a close look at PlayStation Portable. Press the right joystick over here. And the reason why is very simple. We're going to check out the settings. I wanted to show you over here that it is running on OpenGL, but mainly that it already has set to frame skipping #1. And that is basically what it's going to get with the PlayStation Portable in general. We do get an absolutely fun experience. It looks kind of strange because the resolution of the PlayStation Portable is different, but it's going to be still a lot of fun. And let's get into the gameplay, so I can show you why this thing is absolutely like pushing the handheld to the maximum level. Some games will be playable, especially the basic two-dimensional games. But you can see it even struggles with Tekken 5, and that are more or less demanding games. Also, next up, the system that runs just fine on this is the Sega Dreamcast. It's absolutely amazing if you think about it. We have like very cheap, I would say cheap, affordable handhelds that we can actually play Dreamcast on a beautiful display. Having some good audio has an awesome gameplay. But by pressing both joysticks at the same time, we're going to get ourselves in the Retro Arc menu. And here we can even make a quick load and quick save if you want to mess around with the controls. And of course go all the way out. Nevertheless, we can do so many cool things with the device. And when it comes to navigation and everything, it's so super convenient. Next up, let's try some N64. This is Cruise in the USA. The reason I choose this game, besides I love it, I've played it so much on my N64. It's absolutely a hit or miss. And I mean, when you look at the overall emulation performance, you can just hear it stutters and some of the parts are unplayable. The button configuration needs to be remapped because they set it to the L2 button. But I can tell you, it's not going to be very comfortable to play. And you can just hear it's completely unplayable. So when it comes to N64, it's going to be a hit or miss with these games. The Powkiddy RK2023, they absolutely nailed it. I'm just going to be honest, maybe this is going to be one of those handhelds I'm going to put in my top videos of favorite handhelds. The form factor, the way how it plays, the D-pad, everything. There is nothing like a lot of negative things you can say about this. Of course, there was also something to complain checking the emulation performance like PlayStation Portable and N64. We have seen it many times before. To consider subscribing, hit the little bell if you want to check out some other videos when it comes to handhelds and other cool retro products. Thank you all for watching, consider subscribing, and it would be great to see you in the next video.